Hi everyone. So today's Salesforce integration training day 17 and today's agenda is we'll quickly go through the previous session overview and then we'll talk about the certificate key management. So yesterday we have started with JWT OAuth 2.0 JWT Flow. Right, so yesterday we have understood how to download the certificate and how to use the key management, and also we have seen the navigation steps. Now, today what we are going to see is, this is what we have done. So last class, certificate and key management, we created the certificate in server, and then we have downloaded the server. We have downloaded the certificate from the server, and we have exported the key store from the server. So these are the three steps which we have done it. So last class, this is the server. In the server, if I go to the config, if I go to the certificate, if I go to the certificate and key management, now this is the JWT server which we have created this certificate, and we have exported the key store, and then we have downloaded the certificate. Right, so these are the steps which we have completed yesterday. Also, we created the connected app in server. In server, we created the connected app. If we go to the apps, we go to the apps and app manager. And yesterday we have created the JWT. So this is the one which we have created yesterday. And while creating the connected app, what we have done is we have uploaded the certificate. We have uploaded the certificate. So here is the certificate, we have uploaded it. So created the connected app and we have uploaded the certificate to the connected app. Then we have set the permitted user. So permitted user, we have set it as, when we go to the manage, now we can see in the manage, the permitted user is a admin approved user or pre-authorized Now this is what we have done the setup in the last class. Also, till this point, it is in the server side. Till this point, we have done it in the server side. Now, one point which we have to do in the client, we need to import the certificate from the key store. Right, so which we have done it in the client side also. So this is my client. In the client, if I go to the certificate and key management, let's go to the setup. Now here, certificate and key management. What we have done is we have imported the certificate in the client. Whatever the JWS file, JKS file is there, JKS file is we have imported, and it is created the automatically JWT server. Now after that we have verified the pre-authorization URL. Now how did we verify it? Yesterday we have created the URL. So this is the URL. Now if you copy this URL, copy this URL and let's go to the client. In the client, what we will do is starting URL, we will change it, Control C. Now it is automatically taken the URL. So when we pasted the URL, it is automatically taken the JWT is asking for access identity URL service. These all are access it is asking with, because in the server side connected app which we have created, right? Access, unique, user identification, and these all, whatever the application permissions are there, it is asking all those permissions while logging in from the client side using the JWT. Using the JWT, whenever we try to log in, it is going to allow. This is what we are going to do it in the code wise. Right now, I just implemented the URL. Now we are going to implement the code. Now we are going to implement the code. Now code will be in the client side. So in the client side, what I'm going to do is I'm going to implement a Apex class. In that Apex class, what we are going to do is first we need to, let's see what we are going to do in the Apex class. So whenever we are writing the Apex class, first we need to construct the JWT header. JWT header is basically, it will have a algorithm RS256. Algorithm 256, this is we have discussed yesterday. And then construct the JSON claim set. And then we have to do the base64 URL encoded the JWT. We have to implement the base64 URL JWT header, and then after that we have to implement the base64 URL encoded the JWT claim set, and then we need to create the string for the encoded JWT and encoded JWT claim set. Both of them has to combine. Then finally, I need to sign in the result using the whatever this SHA 256 with RSA, because this is the standard which is provided by the Salesforce. All the JWT will be always, it uses, JWT is always uses the SHA 256 with RSA. Now if you search, yesterday we have searched in the Google and I have shown you this B256, the documentation. Now these all steps right now I'm going to implement in the Apex class. I'm going to implement in the Apex class. Now let's go to the client side. In the client side, I'm going to implement a new Apex class. I'm going to implement new Apex class, which is a JWT integration. JWT integration. Now, this is JWT integration. Now, first what I need to do is I need to build the header, whatever the header is there, right? So the first step is I need to construct the JWT header. JWT header. Now here JWT header is having the algorithm. So what I'm going to do is let me implement public class header. Now I'll declare the string here algorithm, and within this I'll create another header and I'll pass the algorithm string parameter. I'm going to pass it here. And within this, whatever the algorithm is passed, that I'm going to set it into the algorithm. This is algorithm. Now, if you search in the Google, now let me go to the Google. And here, if you search JWT, JWT Apex, if I go to the JWT class Apex, now here it is going to give you the instructions. Two point zero Apex. Now if I go to the JWT class, in the JWT, that is a JWS. Now in the JWT, so these are the different methods which are available. Now let me show you the documentation for the JWT. JWT RSA broken apex. This is the apex guide. For to JWT Salesforce. Now this is the one server to server integration. Server to server integration or OAuth 2.0 JWT barrier flow for server to server. Now here it has the algorithm, it clearly explains it. While creating the JWT, we have to sign using the RSA SHA 256. And the first step which we have to do is construct the JWT header with the format of algorithm 256. So what are the algorithm? That is the first step for the JWT. So what we have done is the first step which we have implemented is the header implementation. What are the header implementation is that we have implemented the header. And the next step is we need to create a JSON, the request parameter. Now in the request parameter, I have a ISS, which is a OAuth, client ID, and the AUD, which is the authorization server, sub, which is nothing but a username, and then EXP, which is the expiration time. So I need to fill the JSON structure. So here also it is given the JSON structure. So it will be like this: ISS and sub AUD, right? So AUD and SUB. SUB is also called as a PRN. SUB also called as a PRN. Next, I'm going to declare a body. Now here, public class. I'm going to declare a body here, and let's say string ISS string. I need a PRN, which is a sub, and also string AUD username AUD and a string EXP. These are the four keys I need: ISS, SUB, AUD, EXP. So these are the JSON claim set. Those are the JSON claim set for the JWT. Now for this body, what we are going to do is we are going to I'm building the another wrapper. This is one wrapper class. This is one wrapper class for the header. This is the header wrapper. And this is another body wrapper. Right here, I'm going to pass the create a method constructor in this. I'm going to pass the string ISS and string PRN and then string AUD, string EXP. These are the parameter I'm going to pass it, and what are the parameters I'm receiving it. I simply set those parameters to these values. This dot PRN equal to PRN, this dot AUD equal to whatever the AUD that I'm receiving it, and this dot EXP equal to EXP. Right now, this is constructor which I have implemented within the wrapper class, where it is going to pass the parameters. Whatever I am passing the parameters, I'll be setting into these string values. Also, what I'll do is whatever this JWT integration. Now for this JWT integration, let's say that what else I needed? I need the, first of all, I need to pass the username, password, and username, password, connected app, whatever is required for the URL. So for URL, what is required? I require the connect client ID, and then I require the username, password, and the host name. All those details I need to pass it. So what I'll do is I'll create another class within the server. Now I'll create another class here, public class. This is a JWT configuration. In this JWT configuration, I'm going to set the all the username, connected app, all those things. So first one is which I need is public string JWT username, right? I need the JWT username. Now this JWT username, assume that if I'm going to call it from the Visual Force page, then let's say use it get and set. Similarly, I need the public JWT connected app consumer key, connected app consumer key, and then I'm going to set get and set. And what else I need? Username, connected app, certificate name. I need to pass the certificate name, public string. I'm going to pass the JWT signed certificate. Signed certificate. I'm going to pass it. Let's say get and set. And also I'm going to pass the host name, public string JWT host name. This is also I'm going to pass it. So these are the details which I'm going to pass it. That means whenever I'm executing from the developer console, whenever we are executing from the developer console, the first thing is that I need to pass the username, connected app consumer key, and I need to pass the certification, and I need to pass the host name. That means whatever this JWT integration is there, on execution of this on the execution of JWT integration class, I need to execute this JWT configuration. So what I'll do is I'll create a constructor for the main class public JWT integration. For this, whatever the configuration is there, I'm going to pass the configuration. Let's say this is config. Right now I'm going to pass this whatever the config is there, those configuration I'll be placing into, let's say I'm declaring the one variable here JWT configuration, all the configuration I'll store it here. That means this dot config equal to whatever we are passing the config details. Now, what is this actually? Now, let me show you that what I'm going to pass it. Now, whenever we are executing the class, what we need, I need to use the, whatever this class name is there, this class name dot, and I'm going to use the JWT configuration. And let's give the name to here equal to new. I'll initialize this configuration. And then I'm going to pass within this config, I have a JWT username, whatever the username of the my client username is there, that's the same username I'm going to pass it. Now, what is my username there? So this is the username. This is the username. And then I'm going to pass the config dot. What else I need? I need connected app consumer key. Connected app consumer key. Now, whatever the consumer key is there, that I'm going to pass it. My consumer key is nothing but a client ID. Whatever this client ID is there, that client ID I'm going to take it. The client ID I'm going to take it. Right. Next config dot. Now that is a consumer key. Next I need to pass the certificate name. I need to pass the certificate name. What is my certificate name? Certificate name in the client side, I have a JWT server. JWT server, that is my certificate name. And then config dot, here I have a JWT host name. JWT host name. Now here JWT host name is, my host is login.salesforce.com. Login.salesforce.com. Now, once everything is done, once everything is passed, now what I can do is I can use the JWT configuration. Now let's say JWT OBG equal to whatever this integration is there. I'm going to initialize it here. New JWT integration. Then I'm going to pass all these configurations here. I'm going to pass all this configuration to main class. So that's what we have implemented here, JWT integration. Right, JWT integration. For that, I'm passing the config here. Whatever the config for the configuration class is there, for that all the configuration I have declared the username, connected app, and certificate name, host name, everything I have declared it. Then I pass that config to the main class. In the main class, whatever parameter I'm passing it, I'm giving to the this config. I'm initializing to the config. Now that's what we have implemented. So this is whatever the configuration steps are there. What are the configuration steps? Now once these configuration steps are done, I need to request for a token. I need to request a token. So in order to request a token, now let me create a method for the requesting the token. Because right now I need to get the token details. Now let's go and implement the token public string. Let's say request access token. By passing the username, certificate name, client ID, and then whatever the host name is there. By passing all these things, we can get the access tokens. The access token JWT. We need to get the access token from the server. Now, how to get the access token from the server? Now, whenever we wanted to get the access token from the server, I need to send the request. Now, in order to send the request, what are the details that I need to pass it in the request access token? One is a grant type. Grant type equal to, this is a standard one, JWT barrier. This is a standard one. We have to use it as it is. And then we have a assertion where I need to pass the token, That means before requesting the access token with the JWT, I need to build something to get the token. Because by the time I have a request access, I need to have a token. Now, how can I get the token there? Now, I am not yet received the token. Now, these are the configurations which I have set. Now, I need to receive the token. Oh, that means while requesting the access token itself, I need to pass token details here. In the assertion, I need to pass the token details. That means before that only I need to create a method to get the created token. I need to create a method to get the token. Now, in order to get the token, what are the details that I need to pass it? What are the details that I need to pass it? The first thing is that I need to pass the algorithm saying that RS256, RS256. For this token, let's say here string algorithm equal to RSA256, RS256, and then I need to pass the ISS. What is my ISS? ISS is, what should be the ISS here? ISS will be whatever my client ID is there, whatever my client ID. How I am passing my client ID, where I am passing my client ID. Client ID I am passing in here, JWT connected app consumer key. Where is this? This is in the JWT configuration. So what I can do is I can take config dot, now whatever this consumer key is there, I'm going to pass that consumer key. So that's how I'm going to pass the connected app client ID. I'm going to pass it here. Next one is PRN. PRN is, which is a username, I need to pass it string PRN. PRN is equal to, that is also in the config dot. Where is the PRN? We are passing the JWT username. In the JWT username, we are passing the user details. Next, what is the data that I need? AUD. AUD is basically I need to pass the host details. Now for that, what I'll do is https:// and then plus config dot, we have a host name here. I'm going to pass the host name. I'm going to pass the host name. Now after that, we have a exp. String exp equal to, the next one is exp is nothing but milestone. Whatever the time is there, exp is nothing but time. Whatever the time, expiration time, right? You can give any time here, seconds, milliseconds, everything we have to give it. Now what I'll do is I'll say system dot, we have a current time in milliseconds, and then I'm going to add minutes and seconds, milliseconds, all those time I'm going to add it. And this I'm going to convert it to the string dot value of whatever the data we are passing it inside this, because this is a string. Whatever the time is there, the time I'm converting into the string and storing into the exp. Storing into the exp. Storing into the exp. Now this is building this, the body building this first body is done. Now once we are done with building the JWT body, now step 1 here, step 1, I'm going to create a token by passing all these details. Now how can I do it? I'll use the header, which is a JWT header. Now let me declare the name for this, JWT header equal to whatever the new header is there. Now here, while declaring the header, while initializing this, I'm going to call the algorithm. I'm going to pass the algorithm, which is a RS256. Now when I pass this, how it is going to implement in the backend? Backend, it is going to implement curly braces. Key is a ALG and the value is RSA256. RSA 256. This is exactly how it is going to build at the backend. Now that's what is suggested by the Salesforce also. Let me show you the documentation. In the documentation, your header is format is this ALG RS 256. Not the RSA, it is the RS 256. RS 256. That's what we are passing the RS 256. Now the next step is what are the header is there? This header. That header I'm going to convert into the string. That means I'm going to serialize that. What are the logic is executed here? What are the logic is executed? And I'm going to serialize it. In order to serialize, JSON.serialize, and we need to pass the header. We need to pass the header. Now when we serialize it, it is actually going to build like this ALG and then RS 256. The serialization is going to happen. Once the serialization is happening, then I'm going to store the header JSON into one string. Into a string, I'm going to store this. I'm going to store the string. This is the step 1, creating a token. Step 1. And the step 2 is create JSON claim set. What are the claim set is there? I'm going to build the JSON claim set. JSON claim set. This is the second one. For JSON claim set, what is JSON claim set here? Basically, JSON claim set is, this is the second step, constructing the JSON. That means I need to build this JSON. I need to build this JSON. ISS, AUD, stub, EXP, whatever the parameters are there. Now that JSON claim set, I need to build it. So that means this first step is done. Next step is I need to build this JSON structure. I need to build this JSON structure, which is a JSON claim set for the JWT. Now let's go ahead and build that claim set for the JWT. Now, how I'm going to build it? I'm already passing this ISS, PRN, AUD, EXP, all the values I'm passing it. Now, what I need to do is whatever this wrapper class is there, I'll take that wrapper class body and then JSON claim equal to, I'm going to pass those parameters to the body. Now I'm going to pass the ISS, PRN, AUD, EXP. Whatever this data is there, I'm going to pass those data to the wrapper class. Once we pass the data to the wrapper class, whatever the output is, what are the output we will get it, that output I'll do the serialization. JSON.serialize, and here I'm going to pass the JSON claim. Here I'm going to pass the JSON claim, and this JSON claim, whatever this is there, this is actually, I'm going to store it into the string, which is a body JSON. Now above one is a header JSON, this is a body JSON. And next one is step 3. What is the step 3 here? Step 3 is we are going to implement a base64 URL for a JWT header. Whatever the header we are receiving it. Now I have received the header, right? I have a header JSON and body JSON. Step 3 is base64 URL encode JWT header. Whatever the JWT header is there, I'm going to encode it. So let's use the string here, string equal to encoded JWT header equal to, I'm going to use the base64 URL save. There is a one keyword is there, base64 URL, because whatever I'm getting here, header JSON, that header JSON is in the format of this, right? So first of what I need to do is I need to convert that into the blob value of, now I'll pass that header JSON, and what are the output of the blob is there, I'll convert it to the base64 URL save. This is the method base64 URL header JSON using the return type, that is fine. 36 method does not exist or incorrect word base64 save. Now this base64 save, what I'll do is I'll implement a method for this. Now let me go ahead and implement a method. Public string base64. Let's say log. Whatever the value is there, that value I'm going to pass it to a method. And in this method, whatever I'm receiving the value, for example, here we are receiving the value. Now what I'll do is I'm going to encode this encoding util dot base64. I'm going to encode this. What are the value that I'm getting it? I'll get the value. And when I get the value, what are this header is there? In this header, sometimes I might receive the text with the plus button or a text with the hyphen. If you see here my connected client ID, sometimes it has an underscore and sometimes it has a dot or sometimes it has a plus. So those will be there. So what I'm going to do is replace whatever the plus is there. I'm going to replace it with a hyphen. After this also, if I find anything replace, if there are any slashes there, I'm going to replace that underscore. Let's replace this and I'm going to return this value so that this base64 is going to get the string of it. Then I'm going to store that string here. And I'm going to store the string here. Right, this is written. Okay, it's different. Okay, so this is till this point, whatever we are doing, step 3 is, in the step 3, I have taken the header JSON, I have converted into the block. From the block, I have encoded into the base64, Now that is a step 3. Once the step 3 is completed, now what I am going to do is, next one is, similarly what I need to do is, I have a body JSON. The body JSON also, the JWT claim set, I need to encode it in the base64 URL. I need to encode it into the base64 URL. So step 4, base64 URL encode for body JSON. Now here I need to use the body JSON. Whatever this body JSON is there, I need to convert this block dot value of. I'm going to pass this body JSON, and then whatever this basic, then I'm going to encode it base64. Base64. I'm going to encode, then finally I'm going to store these values into the string. Encoded JWT body. Encoded JWT body equal to this. This is the step 4. Now once the step 4 is done, next one is whatever the encoded JWT header and encoded JWT claim set, both I need to combine it. That means I need to create a string with the combination of JWT header and JWT body. Let's go ahead and implement. That is a step 5. Step 5. Create a string of JWT header and then what are the JWT body. So these are the encoded one. Encoded base64 encoded. So encoded JWT header and encoded JWT body. So I need to implement this. So let me store that whatever is there, the step y is I'm going to take it as a token equal to whatever this encoded JWT header. I'll take that JWT header plus I'm going to add a dot and then plus encoded JWT body. This is the step 5. Once this is done, now finally we have a one more step, which is a signing the resulting string. I need to sign in the certificate, whatever the RSA, SHA 256 is there, I need to sign in that. Now, final step, which is a step 6, sign with certificate, which is a RSA hyphen SHA 256. We need to sign in this. Now how I'm going to sign in? Now basically this is also whatever I'm going to sign in. There is a class which is available is crypto. The class which is available crypto. That is a predefined class in the Salesforce. Crypto dot. I need to use the sign with certificate. Sign with certificate. Crypto dot sign with certificate. Now here algorithm I need to pass it. Algorithm is whatever the RSA SHA 256 is there, that algorithm I need to pass it here. Algorithm RSA SHA 256. And what is the input? Input is the token, and this token I'm going to pass it as a block dot value of. I'm going to pass the token. And the next one is certificate dev name. Certificate dev name. Now, where is this certificate dev name? Certificate name. Certificate name is signed certificate. This is the one. Signed certificate. Now I'm going to pass it. Config dot whatever the certificate name is there, I'm going to pass it. Crypto is the class. In this class, we have a method called sign with certificate. Sign with certificate, where I need to pass this. Whatever the certificate is there, that I need to pass that certificate, and whatever the token that we have with the header and body, we need to pass it in the block, and then I need to pass the JWT, whatever the signed certificate is there. JWT signed certificate name, I'm going to pass it. Right. Now once I pass this, now what I'll do is I'll store these details into the string. I'll store these details into the string. String equal to this is a signature. String equal to signature. Now this signature, once it is done, it is saying illegal assignment from the block to string. What I'll do is I'll convert this block to string by using this base 64. Perfect. Step 6 is completed. Now this error should go away. Illegal assignment from. Okay. Now finally, whatever the token, there is a step 7, which is the final token. Now this token is, now how I'm going to build this token? Whatever the token that I have it, I'm going to use that token and dot the signature. Whatever the token signature is there, the token signature. Right, this is how I'm going to build it. Token equal to whatever the token plus, I'm going to add a dot and then plus signature. And finally, I'm going to return the token. Finally, I'm going to return the token. Now I have a token. I'm going to get the token here. I'm going to get the token here. Okay. So this is token is done. Now here I'm going to get the token. Now once I have a token, the next one is using the access token. Again, I need to build another request access token. In this requesting the access token, the first one is a grant type, which I need to pass it. URL colon, this is a by default Salesforce is going to provide that. So once I have built this encoded JWT, and this is done, string base 64 is done. And they are going to provide us while requesting the access token. So here it is grant type. Grant type is this is a standard. This is standard. Salesforce is providing this standard. What are the grant type is there? This is the standard. You need not to make any changes for this. Just copy this and paste it into the whenever you are requesting the access token for the JWT, you can just copy this information. Assertion is where I need to pass the token. Now I have a token. So what I'll do is, let me copy this grant type. Now let's go to the server. Sorry, let's go to the client. In the client, now I'm going to build here. I need to build the request body. I need to build request body. Request body is containing key and value pair. Request body is key and value pair, where I have a key, which is a grant type, and assertion, right? These are the key and the value I need to provide it. So that means I need to build here one of the request body. Now, in order to build the request body, I take the map of string comma string. String comma string, which is a request body, equal to new map of string comma string. Now, whatever the request body is there, now I'll take this request body dot. What the first one is grant type, grant hyphen type, and then I'm going to pass the whatever I have copied from the website. I'm going to copy that. I'm going to copy this, and then I'm going to paste it into the whatever the value is there. Here I'm going to paste it. Next one is a request body. Within this, I'm going to put the first one is a assertion. Assertion in this, I'm going to pass the token. So my token is here, create token. What are the token I'm getting it? I'm going to pass it there. I'm going to pass it there. Now that's it. These two are I need to provide it. Then finally, I need to build a protocol. So for building the protocol, let's go here. HTTP H equal to new HTTP, and then HTTP request equal to request equal to new HTTP request. In this request, three things which we have to do it. One is the header, endpoint, and method. I need to set this, right? So request dot, let's say set header. What is my header here? Header has to be, whatever the header is there, it has to be in the format of header. I need to provide it in the content type application. This is my header. This is header content hyphen type. Now let's copy this content hyphen type. and then I'm going to pass that application slash x hyphen www dot hyphen form hyphen URL encoded. This is my header. This is the header. And the request dot endpoint. I need to set the endpoint. Now, what is the endpoint here? Endpoint, I need to build it. HTTPS colon slash slash plus whatever my host name is there. I'll take my host name config dot JWT host name, and then I'm going to pass it slash services slash auth 2 slash token. Services slash auth 2 slash token. And next one is a request dot set method. My method is I'm going to post it. By using this, I'm going to post it. And in case if your request is taking too much of time, what you can do is you can set the timeout. So timeout should happen in 60 seconds. What are 60,000? I'm setting the time here. Now I have a header, endpoint, method, and then finally I need to set the body. Request dot whatever the body is there. Now what I need to pass it here? I need to pass this request body. Whatever the grant type assertion is there, I need to pass that. But this is in the map of string, comma string, which is a key formatted, So what I'm going to do is I'm going to implement a method. This method is going to take the map of this, and it is going to convert into the whatever the understandable format for this request. It is going to update it, right? So what I'll do is I'll implement one method. Let me take it as a private string format encode. Now here it is going to expect it the request body. Here the request body is there because this is in the map of collection format. Now collection format cannot be understandable by the protocol. I need to make changes to that. Now here, whatever I'm getting it. So first of all, I'll look at the each key, string key, colon, whatever I'm getting this request body dot key set. Now here I'm going to check if whatever this request body is there. If there is a length, that means it has some value there. If there is a length, right, I'm going to check the length of it. If length is greater than 0, what I'm going to do is keep on adding this request body equal to whatever the request body plus concatenated. Right, so once this is done, then finally what I'm going to do is whatever the output is there. So this is, let's say, string request body equal to none. I'm going to take a different parameter here, which is a map parameter. This is a request body map. I'm going to take this request body map. In case if this request body is greater than some value is there, then I'll keep on concatenating it. That means finally what I'm going to get is this string, whatever this string is there, this string equal to, and so for whatever we have said, plus I'm going to get the key, whatever the key is there, the final key. So I'm going to get the key plus equal to. So basically what I'm trying to implement here is I'm going to implement the grant type, because in this request body what are the values will be there, grant type and assertion. So I'm going to take this grant type. First one is a grant type equal to these all values. It should be equal to. Now here key equal to plus whatever the value is there, whatever the request body map value is there. That how can I get the value of map? I can get it by using the key. Now whatever this is there, this directly I cannot take it. I have to do the encoding util dot URL encode. Then finally I need to convert into the understandable format, which is a UTF-8. Now, so first it will be ampersand grant type equal to what are the value is there. Then once this is done, ampersand, what is the second one? Assertion. It is going to take the assertion equal to whatever the token is there. Whatever the token that I am going to get it, those token it is going to add it. So final URL will be like this. In case if there is anything in this link, it is going to add the ampersand. If the request body is blank, then what I'm going to do, I'm going to take the request body plus key equal to whatever the value is there, that value I'm converting into the URL encode, which is the encoding it. And once I encode it, I'll get the actual value of this. And once this is done, the next one, when it goes into the for loop, it is going to check is my request body is having any data. In case if there is any data, just add an ampersand to it and then take the whatever the previous request body is there, take that and add my key. Key is a assertion equal to, and this is my value. Then finally I'm going to return the request body. Return request body. Return the request body. Now, whatever this method is there, this method I'm going to call it a request dot set body. In the set body, I'm going to call that method. While calling the method, whatever the request body that I have it, I'm going to pass that value. I'm going to pass the parameter in the form encode. What is the problem here in 33 line? Unexpected token. Okay, here I need to set equal to just I have given. It should be, let's say, blank. Okay, now I have set the body. 2 times it is there. Now I have set the body. Now finally, once I have the header, endpoint, method, and also timeout, and then body, then this is the time where I need to send the request. H.send, whatever the request is there, I'm going to send it. Send the request, and whatever, once we send the request, whatever the output is there, I'm going to store the output into the HTTP response into one variable, which is a response variable. Now this is, I'm going to get the response. Now here, I might get the response which is equal to or greater than 200 or less than 300. Any of the one which I'm receiving it. For example, if I'm receiving the status code, for this href.get status code, if my status code is greater than or equal to 200, and if my status code is less than 300, in between this, then I'm going to parse my response JSON to get the access token. So here what I'm going to do is simply I'll extract the JSON. So whatever I'm getting the body here. Now here I'm getting the result. Now in this href dot get body. Get the body. What are the actual body is there? Get it. And once we get the actual body information, now I need to extract those JSON format. I need to extract it. So whatever we are getting the value here, I need to extract it. Now for extracting it, what I'll do is I'll create another method here. Private string extract JSON field. Extract JSON field. And here basically whatever the body I'm getting it, I need to get that body which is in the string format, string body. Along with this, I'm going to pass the assertion also. I needed two parameters, which is the body as well as the assertion. Now, once I have this, whatever the response I'm receiving it, I need to deserialize it. That means I need to, whatever the response I'm receiving from the server, I need to create a parser for this. I need to create a parser. I can directly do the logic here, but I'm creating the different method. So JSON parser equal to JSON dot create parser. Now here I need to pass the whatever the h response get body is there, I'm going to pass that body. And after creating the parser, we need to look with the each token. So parser dot next token. If it is not equal to null, if it is not equal to null, go inside it and check is my parser dot get text. What is the output I'm going to get it is it should be equal to this field. If it is equal to this field, if it is equal to this field, go to the next token parser dot next token and then get the value. Next token and then return parser dot whatever the text value is there, just return that. Just return that. While check the whether this whatever the text is there is the text is equal to this field, then go to the next token and return the whatever the text is there. Otherwise, in case if you do not have it, throw an error. Throw new JWT exception. We have to implement this JWT exception. Now in that JWT exception, I'm going to pass it here field plus I'm going to add some text and then I'm going to add body. So I'll say here while throwing an exception, I'll say here not found in the response. Not found in the response. Now this JWT exception, whatever is there, basically I need to implement that JWT exception. So let's say here that exception is, now I'm going to add it here public class, whatever the JWT exception is there, extends exception. So this is the exception is a standard class for the Salesforce. Whatever this class is there, I'm extending the exception so that it can handle the exception, whatever it is happening here. Whatever we are throwing the exceptions, it can be handled there. It can be handled there. Now this is the extract the JSON field. Whatever we are extracting it. Now what is the response? I'm getting it. Now that response I need to pass it to the extracting the JSON. Now here I'm going to pass it extract JSON field request dot get body, and then I'm going to say the field is access token. Get me only the access token. Get me only the access token, and this is I'm going to return it. Return the access token. Whatever the access token is there, that I'm going to get it. Now how we are going to receive the response in the form of, we have already seen that. Now here like this I'm going to get the information. So whatever the access token is there, that access token value I'm going to get it from here. Right, so it return the value in case if there is any error. Now else condition, I'm going to throw new JWT exception. I'm going to throw the exception here, and for this what I'm going to pass is I'm going to pass the body. Perfect, let's say. Right, so let me minimize all these things. Perfect. So initially we have created the two wrapper class. One is a header and body. And then I have created the configuration. This configuration is basically to pass the user name and the consumer key and the signed certificate post name. And then once we have these details, then we are going to request an access token. For this request access token, I need to pass the token. So that's the reason we have created this method to get the token. And then whatever the token that I'm passing it here. Now in this request body, I'm building the grant type assertion. Then what we need to pass the body. Whatever this request body is there, I need to pass the body. Now this body is in the form of collection, which is a Salesforce only can understand. The protocol cannot understand. So that's the reason I have created another method which is called as a form encode. This is to encode whatever the request that I am getting it, request body in the collection, and converting into the basic string for encoded. And then what else we have implemented? Extract the JSON. Extract the JSON. And what are the response I'm receiving it? I have extracted. So that is the whole concept here. Now what we are going to do is, let me call this logic from the developer console. And let's see, hope there should not be any issue. Whatever we have implemented here, I'm going to copy this. These are the configuration piece. JWT integration, and the configuration I am passing the username and the customer key, certification, and then login dot, that is the host name, login dot Salesforce. And then I'm going to pass this configuration to the JWT integration. And the next thing is that what are the JWT object is there, the instance name. From here, I'm going to call the request access token. The request access token. Now, what are the access token I'm receiving it? I'll store it into the one string which is called as the access token. JWT object dot request access token. And this is what we are going to implement it. Let me execute the highlighted one. Click on debug. We do not have any debug. But what is the output that I'm getting it? Config, I'm passing the config details, right? And this is the username, password, host name, I'm passing all these details. Now the request body, this is the request body, I'm receiving it. I'm sending the request body. When I send the request body, HTTP request, which is a post method. It is OK. Status and status code is 200. That means I'm receiving the access token here. I'm receiving some access token. Now, if you want, you can print the access token also. Now, let's see here. Now, let me print here what is the body that I'm getting it. System.debug. System.debug. And we are going to print the request body plus whatever the request body is this. And in case if it is equal to 200 or greater than 200, now here I am going to print extract JSON system.debug. I'm going to print this, click on save. Now let's go ahead and execute it again. Click on a debug and this open execute. Let me execute this logic again. Now click on here debug only. Now this is the request I am receiving it. This is when it says session is removed is nothing but we are receiving some ID there. We are receiving some ID and then I'm receiving the scope and I'm receiving the instance URL. Right, so let me copy these details. Right, this is the access token. I'm receiving some access token and the scope I'm receiving it. The scope is which is a certification details. This is scope. Scope is certification details and I'm receiving the instance URL. Receiving the instance URL along with that few more details I'm going to receive it. So this is the how I'm getting the output. So it is successful. Client is able to successfully talk to server and server is responding back and then we can see the response. We can see the response there. Now what I do is as I'm able to communicate, client is able to communicate with the server. Now once I have a token details, now let me send the details here. What I need to do, now the access token is valid. Now the access token is valid. Now if the access token is valid, now what I'll do is in the server side, we have a lead service REST method is implemented. Now using the JWT, I'm able to connect, client is able to connect the server. Now I'm going to get all the leads, whatever the leads are there in the server, I'm going to retrieve those leads. Now how can I do it? Again, I need to implement another protocol, HTTP equal to new HTTP and then HTTP request REQ equal to new HTTP request and finally REQ dot set method and I'm going to use the get method because we are going to get the lead details get method and what else I needed set method and then I need to set endpoint. I need to set the endpoint REQ dot set endpoint and my endpoint is https :/ my endpoint is let's take the endpoint here. This is my endpoint. https :/ samskar82, which is my server, and then here I'm going to add services / apex rest / what is my REST API name, lead service, and if you wanted to get only the details of, let's see, I wanted to get not all the details. Let's assume I wanted to get the test, wherever the test is there, I wanted to get the test. I'll say here test. This is my endpoint. This is endpoint. Now once the endpoint is done, now the next step is header. req.set header. I need to set the header. Header is authorization. This is as usual, whatever we have done it for the previous. Whatever we have done it for the previous, that's exactly we have to do it. Now here we have done it previously, authorization. Right, so barrier and the access token. Whatever the access token is there, I need to pass that access token. So here I'm storing the access token here. Now that exactly I'm going to pass it. And same thing, the next one is also header, which is the same. Right, this does not change whether it is a JWT integration or whether it is a username password. This does not change whenever you are getting the details. And finally, now get the response, HTTP response, res equal to h.send, whatever the request is there, pass that request. Then finally, I'm going to receive the response, body system dot debug. Now here I'll say read. I'm going to get all the details of response dot get body. Right. So whatever the access token I'm receiving it here, that access token I'm passing to the while getting the needs details, and then we are going to retrieve the data from server to the client. So from client, we are sending a request to the server. I'm receiving the access token from the server. Again, I'm sending the request to the server from the client. Again, I'm sending the request, which is expecting the lead details. We call execute it. It's missing 54 line. And click on the execute. Debug. Now here is the lead details. I have received the lead details. Control A. Here I have received the lead details. This is attribute. Now within the attribute we have a type. Now type is it is lead, and then we have a URL. After that it is closing the attribute, and next we have a ID. This is first lead, which is having the new test lead, and the email, company, phone. This is the first one. This is the first one, and the second one is here, attribute. This is the second lead attribute, and the type equal to lead. In the URL, this is the URL, and here is the lead details. Below it is a lead details. Now here I am not getting the complete debug details. So what I can do is I can put the debug log, click on the debug logs, click on new. Let's say I'm keeping the debug log for maybe 10 or 30 minutes. SFTC developer console, let's click on a save. Now let me execute the same logic. Click on the execute highlighted. Now refresh the debug log. Now we have received the debug log here. Click on a view. Now I can get the debug. So this is the body that I am receiving. This is session ID removed, and this is here it is the lead information. Okay, let me copy this. Google JSON formatter. Let's go to the Google JSON formatter. Now copy whatever we have done it. Let's delete all these things. Now beautify it. Now here is the data. Right? So attribute, this is the first lead, and this is the second lead details, and this is the third lead. Now everywhere it is a test, test 1, 2, 3, test 4, 5, 5. 4, 5, 4. How many I have received it? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 leads are there. Do I have a 5 leads in the lead? Click on all open leads. Let's say here type test. Now I have 6 leads are there. 6 leads. Am I getting all the leads? Okay, another one is a text. It is not the text test. So here the name is text. This is not the qualified. So actually there are only 5. So this is how we are going to get the details. Right, so this is the JWT OAuth 2.0 JWT. Right, so this is the endpoint, method is post, header is content type, application, this is what we have used it, and the body, the token details. So whenever we are sending the request, that's what we have done. So far what we have done is I created the JWT, which is a JSON web token, and second one is requested the access token, and then Salesforce, whoever is a server is there, servers will grant the access token. Once I have the access token, then I can request the data. What are the lead data or what are the data that we are requesting it? We can request the data along with passing the access token, and then we will receive the response. So that's all about the JWT token. Okay, that's all for today.